Boom, boom, boom. Streaming live. Liz Rossilli,
Hello.
good afternoon, 12 o'clock on the dot. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing great. It's Wednesday, which is like every other day, but it's a Wednesday, and I can't believe that January is almost over. You
It
know,
creeps by so fastly, so fast, so
yeah,
fast. Where you think you are schmoozing before you know it, first month is gone.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's so what's going on in Lizzie's world?
So I so I had something yesterday that happened that I thought would be perfect for our talk.
Hey.
I have a friend who was, she's in sales, kind of like automation and processes and
Mhm.
analytics, and she does all that kind of, it's all about your KPIs. And so she was doing a call yesterday for a scale school for UNC, and so to be supportive, I said, "Oh, I'll join on the call. I'll watch because
Okay.
she's a friend of mine." So I got on the call, and as soon as I got on, I said, "Oh God, I don't know if I'm meant to be here." Like, because they're talking about all these KPIs, and I mean, I track some of that stuff, but the analytics of sales is not my thing, and
Mm.
so some of these people are in bigger companies and corporations, and they're talking all this stuff, and she's explaining stuff, and I just kind of at one point just kind of glaze over with all these different numbers that are going up, and I'm just like, I just don't, I don't think this is where I'm meant to be. And
Uh-huh.
I felt that feeling of that, there were smarter people in the room than me, and you just have that. Granted, it was kind of a webinar, so I was still on camera on the Zoom,
Mhm.
but I didn't have to say anything, so I just was kind of paying attention and taking some notes, but kind of like, I don't think this really applies to me. And then they said, and now we're going to go into breakout rooms and
Mm.
talk about like which 5 KPs you're going to use in your business. And I was like, I had that moment of like, I should just leave the meet, like just sneak out when they go to breakout rooms, just sneak out. So I quickly Google like KPIs and sales and which ones, and I'm like, oh yeah, I already do that. Like I already check my monthly sales, and maybe I don't always check my conversion rates, but I have all that information. And so I wrote down my 5 things really quick on what I either know I already track or that I should track,
Correct.
so that I had something to talk about.
Yeah.
So I go into the breakout room, one other person in the breakout room, just 2 of us. They said, oh yeah, there'll be about 4 people in your breakout room, 2 of us. So I'm like, oh God, like I'm gonna have to, Anyway, it was this nice gentleman who at first he wasn't even on screen, and I was
Mm.
like, I was on screen, and he's like, hold on, let me just get to somewhere where I can, so he turns
Uh-huh.
his video on. And we start talking, and he starts telling me about he's runs this company, this corporation, and
Mhm.
it's software, I think, and it has to do with water filtration, and but then he starts talking about how he has like his marketing team, and talking about sales, and I start saying things like, well, I understand that marketing teams and sales teams don't always talk to each other well, and the marketing team thinks they're doing it the right way, and he's kind of agreeing with what I'm saying. And it just was a really interesting call. And then he was saying how they have they're launching a new product, a new software, and they have their investors coming in, and these guys all get in this room together, and they all have these great big ideas. And I said to him, I said, yeah, but who's implementing them? And he said, exactly, like, they have. So it just made me realize that it's not about the numbers and about all this stuff. It was just about when it comes down to it, selling is selling, you know. And I
Mm,
said to him, I said, well, you know, it sounds like you need, so you know, because he was saying if I'm really good when I'm in the room with the right people, you know, but
mm,
everyone's in the, you know, but how
correct.
do you get, he's like, he said to me, he's like, you know, I just don't know how to get to the right people, because he needs them to be at a very high level. So when you start with your marketing, you know, you're marketing to the masses, and how do you, and I said to him, I said, well, what I'm doing for 2021 is I picked my top couple, like top clients, like, or people, prospects. I just picked, you know, I said, do you know who your market is? Like, who's the top people in your market that you could go after? And I said,
Hmm.
I told him, I said, one of mine is Epic Games. And I told him that I don't care how I get my foot in the door, but I have, you know, I have people that I know who know people. Maybe they're
Correct.
not in the right department, but I
Correct.
just need someone to get me in the door to just then work my way up, you know.
Mm,
He made it sound like he's never heard this before, you know, like this is, you know, just, and I was just had such a great conversation with him, just giving him some advice on, you know, I could tell he was thinking about it, you know, and I
yeah.
was like, pick your top clients and then just look for on LinkedIn, who do you connect with that might know someone in there, or, and then I said, and then just all your energy, you just go after those people. And so we connected. He sent me his email address and we connected afterwards. And
Excellent.
I was just like, you know, I almost hit leave meeting, you know, and just, I felt so good afterwards, like that selling is selling, no matter if you're selling to, you know, just someone, one person or a corporation, or, you know, whatever size your business is. It comes down to, like, they've obviously forgotten the basics of selling at that company. So,
Wow. So a whole lot to unpack here, and I am ready to unpack. And the very first thing I heard was, all these people are smarter than me. No, you know, that story we tell ourselves because we they see each other every day, right? So if uh, a spoken word expert, a poet, somebody who really knows how to use words, get in a room with singers, artists, and she's gonna feel, oh my goodness, I don't belong here because these guys are singing, but they're singing lyrics, they're singing words, right? So she stays for a while and then she goes, heard about this, that, and the other, and she starts to tell them like, oh wow, you, and they look at you like, what, you are somebody we never, because we tend to colonize, just get in our little colonies and stay there. Just Liz stays with designers and marketers. Wulwyn stays with maybe consultants and engineers. When we mix up, we go, which language do you speak here? So, and we are interested if we give ourselves time and we learn. So you just, everything that you said just tells me, you know, stay. Stay in the room, and I just put stay with an exclamation mark there, because when we start telling ourselves this story, oh, I can't make it here, I'm not, well, nah, stay, be uncomfortable, and there you have a possible client, because
mhm.
he's the decision maker of this company, and you talk to him a couple of weeks from now. What about some shirts? What about some, you know, other things that I got from you as you were saying it? Uh, you know, corporate speak is so bloated. It
Mhm.
is bloated to I don't know what degree, because KPIs and the trend, the the market movement, etc. It's simple KPIs. Whatever you need to calculate and measure in your business is your indicator. How many times you said hello, how many times somebody came into place and blinked their eyes. So a KPI for Mr. FBI is when I'm talking to the guy and he's moving his eyes away from me, that means there's a suspicion that he is a suspect, a major one, because over time we've seen that anybody who's talking directly, they're confident. So the thief, the real good one, switches it up and says, "Yeah, I didn't do it. I did." So they confuse it. So your KPIs are just anything, any
Well,
single
even
thing.
just like, yeah, if you're going to make phone calls, the number of phone calls you make, how many of those turn into sales? And if that number is going to help you to then say, you know what, this is working, or I need to make changes, but it's going to give you confidence that what you're doing is working.
And let's go even deeper, because that now when you were talking analytics, I was just going, oh yeah, yeah, because that's my strength. How many? Who did you talk to, a female or a male?
Mm-hmm.
How did you begin the conversation? You're breaking that thing down so that when you look at and do your regression or your it starts with the C. Why am I missing? When you converge the data, you will see that when you spoke to a female and you begin with friendly words and asked how they were doing, it ended up well. When you did a male, it was short. How long was the conversation? How long was the bark? How high was the bark? Is the bark quick? Is the bark just subdued? Is it something that, so you get all of that data, and the data informs you. They are your performance indicators, how you will perform. So I speak, if you're listening, and even to both of us here, our KPIs, you just have to sit and pay attention. Sit and pay attention. And that works. So that was some good stuff. I like that. I
I
like that.
have to run downstairs for 1 second because, of course, I've had a 6-hour window for my something, and it's just arrived now. So
Go ahead. I'll keep talking.
you talk. You keep talking.
So this is where I talk to the chair and to you. So basically, KPIs. When you hear, corporate, they say a lot of words that people do. When I say words, they bring these big old huge concepts, and it's so simple that you can take what's happening in an enterprise company and not dumb it down, but truly get to the lowest common denominator and say, these are the things that I will do for my corporation or for my business. My Something just came to my mind: a cupcake shop where you're selling success. You're trying to be sales savvy. You you find out that, so we're talking about cupcakes now. I'm giving that scenario where someone who runs a cupcake shop, they do 10 flavors. The 10 flavors, all of a sudden, 5 of these flavors go every single time. Your performance indicator tells you that don't waste your time on the other 5. Do those 5 and let them run. Or when you do during different parts of the day, different ones go, different types go, and how many go before the other. So you create that amount and build it during those different times. I went into Starbucks, Liz, when we used to travel and go and have meetings. I'm there at, I think it's 7 p.m. My wife and I go and get a drink, or I went to get, I think, a muffin. And I look in their garbage, in the trash. That thing was full to the brim with bagels and cupcakes, and I mean, just good food. And I looked at it and I went, honey, they're dumping all of this stuff. Whereas the humanitarian in me goes, man, why don't they just give this stuff out? But I understand there are laws where if someone eats that and they get sick, they can be held liable. But here's the point: how many times have they put that trash can full with food? Which tells me, when I can calculate over time, if there are 20 blueberry muffins going in there, 30, and I open, I know my inventory, I can quickly bring open only the things that I want to open and give myself some room so that I can perform. So in the end, I'm not wasting inventory. So that's what KPIs do for you. Just
Right.
one
And I think
scenario.
also if you have multiple products
Uh-huh.
and on product A, it takes you maybe just as long, but you're making half as much you do as on product B, like, you should be pushing product B because you have a bigger profit. Like the profit margin is important too. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Are you kind of low? Can you speak? Let me hear you,
My
Liz.
volume.
Yeah, you seemed.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, but you're right. The KPIs and fear. I think what you talked just now, and I have that sometimes. Your fear of the unknown, fear of coming into a room, fear of picking up the call and cold calling, right? That you're so good at. Your fears should not drive you to not do what you're supposed to do. I think more so it should urge you, push you along so that you can go ahead and you know what, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to jump out of a plane without a parachute though. So,
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm
so
trying
how?
to
Go ahead. What do you? I see you thinking. What do
I'm
you?
trying to fix. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I mean, you are. Was it a microphone or?
I no, I just it's my computer. It's just my computer, but
Okay,
it's not letting me adjust the volume.
really?
It's interesting. Yeah. Oh
Maybe
wait, let me try this.
I need to
Hold on.
put
Oh, is
mine
that
up.
better?
Go
Is that
ahead.
better? Is that better? No.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't.
Okay.
We'll be good. So how is 2020 based on your your plans, your vision so far?
It's been an interesting start to the year.
Okay.
And like I think we've talked about before this year, trying to set goals when you don't know what the year after what happened, for last year, it's a little just, I'm not as motivated to make these huge goals,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. And but it's been an interesting start with launching my sales savvy. It's made me kind of keep, because it's so new, I can keep reassessing and resetting my goals, and kind of as things happen, it's like, oh, I need to add that into my goal,
Hmm.
and my targets. So I feel like I keep, when I first thought about doing this, it was so far fetched and so like,
Correct.
oh, there's no way, and now I keep seeing a brighter and more clear vision that I keep changing how I want to move forward. And I think
Mm,
it's important in business to always kind of have an open mind and say, you know what, like, yes, this is working, but I always am thinking, is there a better way? Or, reassessing and saying, how much time do I want to put in this aspect of this business or in this aspect of this business, and making sure that I'm, I'm being productive and that I'm happy. I
yeah.
think that's important.
Wow.
And making sure that you're enjoying, if there's the parts of your business that you just dread every time you have to do it, maybe those are the aspects that you need to give someone else to do. So
Let it go.
yeah.
I'm hearing balance, right?
Mhm.
Just being balanced, and it's something that I finally yesterday completed the purging, the cleaning, and I feel so great in this space, right? It's it's every year. And why what the reason I'm bringing this up is, you and I talked about it and we texted, hey, purging, the purge goes on. uh it's setting a balance for what you do, making sure that you I I am spending more time with my family now.
Mhm.
I'm spending more I'm teaching my daughter how to drive now, right? So we go in Apex Friendship parking lot and just, hey, you drive, do it. I'm spending I'm spending time doing things that make me happy, redecorating, using the saw, using tools, etc. I'm not forgetting about the business. I'm doing the business and I'm balanced versus me chasing the business 24/7 and not having. Zig Ziglar has this thing called the, I think, have you seen the Wheel of Life, that
Mhm.
has all of these different wheels, and if one or two of them are not above 8, and there you have 10 on a couple and then 0 on, you have a flat wheel. So the key is for us to keep those wheels as family, spiritual, your work life, your personal being. And I think there are 4 other ones I'm not getting here, but you need to keep those things in balance in order for you to be successful. So
Right. I
selling
think
such.
that that's one thing that COVID, forced us to do, is to slow down and maybe spend more time with our family than we wanted to, but it forced us to be home and to kind of really, like, everything halted for everybody in
Mhm.
March, in April. And so it gave you hopefully a chance to reassess and say, realize, now I think I take so much less for granted, and I'm so more appreciative for so many things, like,
Wow.
for my friends and my family. And I hope that when we come out of COVID, that we can still have that appreciation and not just go back to the way things were, that you can keep that going.
We have to, you bring that up. Bad habits
You got to hold
are
on.
bad habits are natural. Bad habits are just natural. The key is to truly just always create new habits that will push and put those bad habits back in the box, back in whatever closet, and keep those good ones coming. So what I'm saying is, the key is, when 2020, when COVID leaves, we need to be so intentional
Mhm.
about keeping our space the way it was, in terms of, I'm going to spend time with the kids, I'm going to spend time with the friends, I'm going to spend time with myself,
Yeah.
because I think we did a whole lot of soul searching and looking in the mirror to see who we were during this time, and just having that great mental health, because I think it sets you to be successful in whatever you do.
And I think, like, I've started meditating more, and just, like, even taking long walks, like, it gives me time to kind of reassess and clear my head a little bit. And it's amazing the things that come in when you have that silence. So yes, but I think I told you before, I'm doing the 12-week year.
Mm-hmm. You did.
And one thing about that is it gives you such a sense of urgency, because you've set these goals for the week. And then last week was my first full week, and on Friday we had a call. You're supposed to have accountability partners, so we had a call, and you have to grade yourself on how you did, and you're supposed to take all, say you had 10 things, targets or tactics that you were supposed to get done for the week,
Mm-hmm.
and you give yourself, yes, you check the ones off you did, and then you divide it by 10, and what, and you realize that, okay, I got a 40%. And it's
Okay.
like, I have to tell people that I got a 40%, like, oh, like, I only got 4 out of the 10 things completed, and then you start to I try to say, well, I kind of did part of that one, maybe I should give myself partial credit, but it's about being honest and realizing, maybe I need to, it's okay to do that, and it's supposed to get better. Your score is supposed to go up. It's okay to be low, but even just reassessing the goals and the tactics that you set for yourself every week,
Mm-hmm.
maybe to say, maybe I'm not picking the, you don't pick all easy things so that you get 100. That's not
Gotcha.
the
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
You
yeah,
you
yeah.
pick things, what are the most important things to move your business forward? And when
Yes.
you only have a week to get those things done, it adds such a sense of urgency where usually you're like, oh yeah, I'll get to that. Now I'm like, I'm realizing you got to put those most important things, do them on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, because things don't always go the way you plan.
Mm,
So,
mm.
you don't want to be Friday afternoon. Like I was doing things. I said, well, it actually doesn't, the week doesn't end until Sunday, actually. So I actually got some of my things done on the
Hey,
weekend.
it works. It works.
I was like, wait, I can still do that. Like that's what and I was like, I'm not settling for 40%. So,
Correct. You,
but it just, that sense of urgency to make that list and get them done, and things not that are just going to be easy, so you can check them off. It's the things that are hard but are going to move your business forward, are the
correct.
important ones.
As you were talking, I had a conversation with Sarah Madras, and we were speaking about. She had no, she did a presentation with Millennial Group, it's a financial group, and I went there to support her. She says, "Wulwyn, now she's talking to the whole crew, to the whole, yeah, but she's talking to me because I'm listening and I'm getting, this is what I'm getting. Attempt to move from result-based activities and go and do goal-based activities, right? So
Mhm.
results versus goals. Your results is A, B, got an F, whatever. Goal is I I have 100% that I have to do. Today I did 10. Tomorrow I'm going to do another 20. So it helped me in cleaning this office. It helped me
Mhm.
be successful because I wanted results. I wanted it to be crisp. But I had to go through the process. It helps me when I'm driving, teaching my daughter how to drive. Honey, if you want to go left in reverse, you want to go to the left side, turn the wheel left. If you want to go right, turn the wheel right. The car will go in that direction. Yeah, but it's goal based. The very first day I put this lady on the wheel, she was staring like this. The next day, the day before, she was crossing her hands over the wheel. Now I'm teaching her how to just leave the wheel. The wheel usually just comes back, baby. So just leave the wheel and the wheel will just zzz. Now you look like a professional driver, and then you're not taking me like this, giving my side whiplashes. So when I finally realized it's goal based, every single day we're working towards selling, we're working towards being successful, we're working towards being savvy on what we're doing, and that's all we can give ourselves. It's like
Mhm.
you saying, yeah, so you, even yours goal based, it's like, gosh, I got to get to the end of this goal. I'm going to do 10%. Sometimes you do 50, but other things are there buffeting you to go, okay, family. And then like right now, what I'm doing is I'm doing the taxes, not collecting the data for the taxes. I'm doing complete goal based because this thing is driving me nuts. I'm going, where do I have to look next? Goal based. I'm going to take everything from here, tackle it, go to the next place and tackle it.
Mhm. And
Mm,
even sometimes setting a timer for those kind of things, that you like cleaning your office. It's overwhelming to think of, oh, I got to clean all this stuff up. But you say, okay, for right now, I'm going to 30 minutes. I have 30 minutes to spend on this. And you'll be surprised how much you get done in that 30 minutes. But setting a timer, and, I'm such a fan of time blocking.
So I had 35 minutes set before this meeting to do the taxes to collect the data. And I said, you know what? As soon as Liz 35, it's going to be 5:50, 11:55. I'm shutting this down and it's done. Rang, dressed, came up, and I did it. So just what you said. Interesting, interesting. Great minds think alike.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh man. So what's on the horizon for you in terms
Uh,
of family, business, just making yourself self
just
successful?
yeah, and I just, like I said, I'm reassessing right now, like things that, you know, what am I doing that I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall? Like, and things that I don't have control over. Like I don't have control over COVID. I don't have control over that there's no events. So like trying to sell promotional products for events is not going to happen this year. So I have to reassess that and put my energy in other places and just and also just accept that and just say that's okay. It's okay.
Mm.
That is out of my. It's not an excuse, but it's out of my control. So I need to find a new way, a new something different. So
Something just hit me as you were saying that. We're not going out. We're not. There aren't any events, and I know your business is creating e- material marketing for events per se. So what if you change the game in terms of, yes, we know it's not about events anymore. It's about caring for your employees.
mhm.
So caring for your employees now turns to be the event that the employers are going to thank you so much for working at home and doing, and the things that you're giving them now, they're not those corporate things, but you're giving gifts, etc., like a blank.
Comfy slippers and blankets. You could not get them at the holidays. They were sold out everywhere because everyone was
Wow.
giving blankets to their
Wow, look
employees.
at that. Look at that. Look at
So
that.
yeah,
So, mm, mm.
yeah.
But
So definitely like around the holidays was when I pushed that, like say thank you to your employees, and some of
gotcha.
my clients automatically knew to do that and say thank you. And it's interesting to watch how like the industry is changing, and now a lot more are offering things like free drop shipping, knowing that they're going to ship to everyone's home instead of going to the
To the
office,
office. Gotcha.
so yeah,
Gotcha.
yes.
Wow.
And then I'm also thinking like maybe this is the time when I should focus on my sales business, my sales savvy, when I don't have as much control over the promotional product industry, but now I can give more time to sales savvy and help those all those entrepreneurs and those small business owners who now need to be help with their sales and might be reassessing their sales. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I have
Mm-hmm.
another story for you about my
Tell me
a
stories.
success story.
I love stories.
So my one of my clients for Sales Savvy,
Listen to that. Listen
she
to that. One of
yeah,
my clients. Go.
she didn't really have any sort of sales process. She doesn't have a CRM, any way to kind of track her prospecting, her pipeline, and
Hmm.
she's trying a new model. Like she's trying something new, giving out these postcards for realtors to give to their customers when they buy a house. That gives them 2 free hours of consultation. She's an interior designer.
Hmm.
So I said, you need to have somewhere where are you keeping the notes that when you talk to a realtor, we wrote the script, what she's going to say to them, so that she felt confident in talking with them.
Yeah.
And then I said, what do you do? What are you doing with the information? So you know when to, they're not going to all just be like, yes, okay, you're going to have to follow up with them.
Correct.
So where is all these steps? And she had nothing. So she had pieces of paper here and notes here and a notebook here. So I created a spreadsheet for her to kind of keep track, but she wasn't using it correctly. Like
Okay.
she just kept adding fields, but they weren't connected to each other. So
I get it.
I could tell that it wasn't helping her in any way.
Hmm.
So I discovered last weekend Trello, which had never used Trello before.
Trello is Trilo.
Trello.
Tre.
Trello boards. It's kind of
Okay.
like if you picture like a bulletin board with sticky notes. You
Gotcha.
have lists and then you have cards on each of those lists. So, for example, for her, she could have a list of all the realtors. Each one gets their own card. And on that card, you can put all the information, like their
Hmm.
contact information. You can have checklists on there, you can have due dates, but she can kind of keep a running tab of the conversation that they've had and put a due date for when she needs to talk to them again. So
Okay.
I took the spreadsheet and just converted it into a Trello board for her and just put all of her, I said, look, and then I made her another list of like content ideas for her for social media, and
Mm-hmm.
another list for her blog, her
Gotcha.
newsletter ideas and stuff. But to have all her entire businesses on one screen now, and she can just like, it just made so much more sense. And just it felt so good to have that moment of like, oh my god, this is what she needs, and just, but not saying, oh, we took all that time doing that spreadsheet, and then we're
Correct.
going to have to copy and cut and copy
Correct.
all that stuff out of there and move it over. And I just was like, this is the next step. This is what we
That's
have to do.
and that's what adding value. That's what provide. That's why you're in service. And the next person you go to, who you know what to jump to. Have you used Trello? Have you tried this? Yes, I've had it. Doesn't work. Then you go and start thinking again of the next best thing. So Trello isn't a CRM per se.
No, but it has CRM you can turn it into, you can
It,
turn a board. I have a board that I've turned into a CRM. So yeah, so it's free to everyone out there. Trello is free, and someone else showed me their boards and how they did it. And once, because someone else had showed me theirs, and it was so much information on there. It was all filled in, and it was overwhelming, and I didn't get it,
correct.
And then when my other friend showed me and she explained what she did, I was like, oh my God, I can use this for social media. I can have every day of the week on there, and I can have it for, there's so many uses for how to use those boards
Wow.
that,
Wow.
but just not saying, well, we've already done the spreadsheet and that's the way it's going to be, so converting that over was
So how many clients you have now?
I have two.
Two. The last time
Yeah.
we talked, you had one.
Yes. So it's going well. It's going well. And I look at these clients as being my, not, I don't want to call them
Test.
guinea pigs,
And I
but
was saying, please don't say guinea pig. They're your process improvement, process improvement uh, employees.
but it's funny how, they've hired me for sales, but how many other aspects of their business that I have to help them with, and that, because
Yes.
sales is just one part of everything. I've reworked her entire LinkedIn profile for her and helped her to think through. She wrote it, but I had to give her the prompts and talk to her about what needs to go in there, and not just pull it off your website, like make it more personal. And so
So what you're doing now is you're adding more services, service options. So it's not just please don't hmm, take the 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 foundation and create it as one service option. And when I say the foundation, you said, I'm just not doing sales, I'm doing other things that leads to sale. So your options for engagement now begin with, you know, sales savvy. However, if you're not ready to be sales savvy, we have this other option called foundation savvy that we check your foundation to ensure that it's proper. From foundation, then we go to another level. So it's always good to have them in threes, right?
mm,
The foundation, the testing savvy, and then now the sales savvy. So what testing savvy is, we're going through the process now of making sure that these changes we've made are, we can benchmark and say, based on what we worked here, you are better than where you were prior to me coming in, prior to the foundations, right? And that sets their complete view on you, showing that you truly did take them from zero to hero.
mm-hmm.
And it gives you be very strategic in this. Tell them, please explain in the testimonial how you felt prior
Yes.
to me coming on board, how
Mm-hmm.
you're feeling now, and what you're thinking that we will do in the future. Because most people, when they read testimonials, they want to find themselves in it.
Yeah.
So you let him or her explain the before, the during, and the future.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ah,
I love that. I
I
love
love
that.
it. I just love. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So final words. What's going on? Can you imagine 40 minutes done so quickly?
I know. And I just had a washing machine installed during that time too. So they
You
had
can do
all
two.
day, and
You
they of
you
course they had to come.
you can do two things at
There
once.
you
Look
go.
at
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
I
Yes.
hope you didn't get. Did you get those washing machines without the
Agitator.
without the agitator?
Yeah. I went from the front loader to the top loader. So we'll see.
Sis, I can't stand. I want my old agitators, because when my son exercises
Oh,
and when
yeah.
we sweat, that thing is that stuff is for lingeries and I don't know. It's not for sweat, you know. And I'm like, oh. And then this one we had sings. Then I'm like, you show Samsung, just shut up, wash my clothes and do it well.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
So final words, I would say, you know, I that yesterday just made me feel, it just boosted my confidence to know that when I felt like I didn't belong there, and
mm,
yet I when you're an expert at what you do, then you can be anywhere.
wow, wow, whoa, expert at what you do, you can be in. Whoa, sister, I'm gonna drop the mic on that. Drop the mic on that. And in fact, I am going to write it here before we go. Um, when you are, and I'm putting it in our expert at what you do, you can be. See now, anywhere. Boom, boom, dash, Liz, Row, Ssilli. Liz, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week.
You
And
too.
we'll talk, we'll text between, maybe
Yeah,
call, but
we'll be it'll be February, mid-February when we talk
my
again. So
goodness, can you imagine?
it'll almost be Valentine's Day, I think, right? Just to
Thank
give
you.
you a heads up, Wulwyn. Just
Thank
to
you,
give you a
girl.
heads up.
You got my back, girl. You got my back. Everybody, take care and have